And yeah, so looks like we've got a good number of people, which is pretty good. So I don't know, this might be like the 5th one that we've done so far. But the idea is to be informal, sort of meet up, mainly focused on like RISC-V software and dev boards, but could be anything else related to RISC-V if people are interested in it. So usually I prepare like a few slides just to get started, and then the idea is hopefully other people have things to share. It could be slides, or if you don't have slides, you can just like share your screen and pull something up in the web browser, or do like a demo in the terminal. So the idea is casual. You don't have to worry about like having something prepared ahead of time. So for those of you that aren't on the Google group, there is a mailing list, which I tend to post things there. It's pretty low volume, so you can join that if you want to know when I post like what's upcoming and things like that. The other thing would be like feel free to reach out to me if you'd like to present something in the future. That'd be awesome. And then today, I mean, most of you probably got here because you went to the open hours webpage on the community.riscv.org and RSVP'd. So the next one will be on the 24th, and that'll be US morning, so it'll be very late for China. That's the one that's kind of in a good time for people in Europe. For those that aren't aware, there is still the developer board program. So if you're like working on an open source project and you wanna get a dev board to like port software to RISC-V on, or work on a project, you can fill out this form. It's preferred for you to be a RISC-V international member, but everyone can actually join free of cost as an individual. So if you aren't yet a member, you can join free of cost as an individual. So let me drop that link in there. So I think a lot of people I see in the chat are already members, either through their companies or institutions. And the main board right now for this developer boards program is the D1 board. So if you don't have one of those, if you fill out the form, chances are pretty good you might get one. And then the RISC-V Summit's coming up in about a month, so I'll be going there. I think, Akira, you're going to be trying to go to the RISC-V Summit. Is that right?
Yeah, I can attend virtually, but not in person.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully we'll also have a lot of virtual attendees as well.
Sorry, my mic wasn't working.
Yeah.
I will be in at the place in San Jose. Yes.
Yeah, San Francisco. Yeah,
San Francisco.
Actually in San Francisco this time. But the schedule looked really good. I looked at the schedule, and based on some of the speakers, it looks like some of the talks are virtual. And I know the idea is that it's supposed to be hybrid. So if people aren't, people aren't able to make it, which is probably going to be most people aren't going to be able to make it, then hopefully the virtual experience is pretty good as well. But I'm looking forward to several of the talks. So that's coming up in actually, wow, like 4 weeks, I guess it is. And then, yeah, as I mentioned, you can join free of cost as an individual, or if you're part of a nonprofit, like I'm part of the BeagleBoard.org Foundation. So we're a member because we're a nonprofit. So we were able to join free of cost. So something to look into if you aren't already. I always like to point out this technical wiki, which is a great place to find links for pretty much everything, because it can get confusing sometimes where everything's located. And I did want to point out that, I don't know if any of you have seen this, this just got refreshed by Christoph Mühlner, actually this week, I guess it was. So this is the feature support in different open source software, which I thought was pretty interesting. There used to be like a page similar to this on GitHub, but it was been like deprecated. So I guess when you're trying to figure out software support, RISC-V software support in different projects, this is a good place to look. And he just updated it this week, so hopefully it's pretty up to date. Let's see what else. Yeah, and if you haven't looked, this is the calendar here with all the meetings. A lot of the groups meet bi-weekly or monthly. And then one of the ones that I always try and get to is the Software Horizontal Committee. So this one is kind of the umbrella for all the software different groups and task groups and special interest groups. So everyone kind of does like a short little recap of what their group's doing in that call. So that's usually a good one. I guess kind of late in China, but it's a good one if you can make it. And then what's the next platform one? I guess the next platform meeting is actually coming up on Monday morning for us here in the US. Yeah, I usually try and get to that one as well. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, so I'm actually curious. I haven't talked to Stefano yet or anyone from RISC-V International, but like technically the public review ended on October 31st. So I guess I don't know what the feedback was on all these different ones, but I guess we're done with that, at least public review period at least. So I guess that's a good sign that hopefully these will be moving forward. I don't know if anyone is paying attention to like the email threads about any of the specific specs, but hopefully they're all like don't require too many changes after the public review. I guess we don't have Stefano on, but I'm sure at the RISC-V Summit in 4 weeks we'll get an update on all these different specs. Let's see what else. I did notice an email this week from Keto about the PSABI, that there's a release of that, which let me paste in this link here. So I kind of follow the ABI stuff, but like the details are a little bit beyond maybe my level of understanding. I don't know if anyone else pays attention to all the kind of details with the ABI or not. If there's anything interesting in this new version that is maybe of note, but I thought it seemed like that was an important thing, that there's a new release of that document. And oh yes, that was the other thing. So back in September in Seattle, there was the Embedded Linux conference. And the videos are finally up on YouTube. They're unlisted, so like I didn't see them like published on the channel, but someone has sent me a link and I noticed that there's a playlist, so I pasted that in there. So if you click on this link, it'll take you to a playlist with all of the Embedded Linux conference talks. I think, did I do that right? Let's go back here. I thought maybe I got that link wrong, but the link to all the individual talks should be good. So for example, this is the first one. Let me mute it. Actually, I should fix that link to the playlist. So you'll see here, this is the talk about kind of bootloaders actually from the Penguitronics people, which was actually a really good talk. And you'll see here that there's playlist. So let me see if I can get a link to actually the playlist. I think I messed up that link earlier. So this is the link to the playlist for all of the Embedded Linux conference and the Open Source Summit. And I put in the slides, I put the links to each of the RISC-V talks. Let me fix this link here. Yeah, so this one was pretty interesting. I thought they talked a bit about like Bearbox, which is the bootloader they do at Penguitronics. Vitaly talked about execute in place. Then Atish talked about like the new work that they've been doing on perf. I don't know if Atish made it on here, but that's a good talk to check out. It looks like a Noopson. So that's a good one to check out. And then actually I made screenshots of them. So here, for this one, I'd recommend checking out. It had some interesting like low level details, especially around like caches and coherency. This one with execute in place, which is something like Vitaly had done a while back with ARM, like M series microcontroller or cores, and is focusing on with RISC-V. this was Atish talking about what had been done to better support perf in RISC-V. I gave a talk about like Linux on RISC-V, and then this was a talk about from one of my colleagues at Libre, Kevin and Alexandra, talked about how they added essentially user space to Zephyr by using the PMP to have the kind of separation between the machine mode and U mode. And let's see. Yeah, so I talked about this, I think, in the open hours last week. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I think maybe since definitely this happened after the last time I think we met with in this time zone with the open hours. So the Android SIG has been around for a while now, but more recently they gave a talk at the Chips Alliance workshop. So I don't know if anyone else watched this, but I thought it was really interesting. I'm sure Gaoren knows about this one. Yeah. Hi, so this was exciting. I watched the video here, and then there's actually a blog post up on the RISC-V.org, which was cool to see. So yeah, this is exciting stuff to see it moving forward there. If you look at the top, they have a lot of different like graphics in there about some of the different work they did. Yeah, is there anything you wanted to say about the Android work that's going on, or the C910?
And Maohan is in the meeting, and I think, do you have any comments on this slide, Maohan? He is our he is duty for our Android project. Yeah, Guoying and Maohan. Yeah. Okay. And Maohan, and I think the Maohan is in the meeting. I don't know if he is listening. Are you muted? Okay. So the Android project is continue, and we are very appreciate people participate in this project, and there are a lot of works to do, and we are still out of the Google's repo, and that means we are still need a long time to get in that repo, and Maohan and Guoying pay very hard work on that. Yeah, it's nice. Very. I think it's very. Maohan said to me that he don't want to talk. He just want to listening. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's okay.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not so familiar with the Android ecosystem. I just focus on the Linux kernel, CPU subsystem, and that's a very complex Android. And actually, a lot of people participate in the Android, as I know, but it seems a lot of Chinese people fear to announce. I mean, just they just work, but they don't announce a lot of things. Yeah, I know a lot of people participating in this project. It's a very huge project.
Yeah, and, that's very true.
Yeah, and when we open it out, I hope all people could get together and shout out and work together and push it step by step.
Yeah. And I think I guess a good link here is there's a whole GitHub organization for this effort, I believe, that has all the repo, because the slides there from the presentation talked about how there's 100 different repos involved, because Android has so many different projects that are that it needs. So this GitHub org here has I guess 70 different repos. So I think this is where a lot of the work's going on in. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This seemed to be like one of the main places where there was work going on. I mean, I know you also have the original, can never find the URL when I want it, but from the ICE EVB repo.
Yeah. We
here
have
it is. This one, right? There's still this page too as well, right? But this was back from oh, it looks like you're still updating this then, right? This repo.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This our this repo is our release repo, and we would put all the resource in this repo to make our make it work on our board. Yeah.
Okay.
And ice board is just our demo board. It's very limited in quantity. And
Okay.
next we will provide a productive. You know
Okay.
that, yeah, you know that we just wait a month or 2 months, yeah, we will tell public that, yeah.
Is this the so this is the board from back in January? This is the older board right here. Is this what we're looking at
Yeah,
here?
it's
This is
older
the
board.
one. Okay, and
Yeah,
then in
older
the
one.
I had the slides up here. In the slides from the Chips Alliance presentation, they showed off this new board, right? So this is the new one.
The board is new, but the chip
Okay.
is the same. Yeah,
Chip, same chip. Okay.
Yeah, that's no so much difference. Yeah, just but it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this with this one, the idea is you connect a DSI display to it to the. Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
We and the next we will provide HDMI, DSI. Yeah, over the always there in the productive one, and actually this board will be put into history. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. So I know some people had already ordered it. It was on, I think maybe AliExpress. I'd seen links somewhere a week or two ago. So I think some people have put in orders for it. I think it was around like $400 US, maybe something like that. I think.
Yeah, I recommend people just wait for a while and to get a new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, but that was really exciting to see. I thought these were kind of interesting summaries of the different components, and they were talking about the different things that had to be worked on. So yeah, if people haven't seen that talk, I recommend checking it out. It's not complicated, but just something to be aware of. When you click on the link to the talk, it's actually, there was just one video for the entire workshop, but it's the first talk. So it starts pretty early. So I put the timestamp in there. It's at about 4.5 minutes into it. So you can check out this talk there. That was pretty interesting. It's like basically breaking news. And then, I mean, the other really awesome thing, this definitely happened after the last open hours, I think, was that Alibaba T they released the actual like Verilog for all the cores. So the 910 and the 906 cores. So like I don't really know that much about Verilog, but it was kind of neat that you can, if you want to, you can go look at the source code for the core, which I thought was pretty neat. I mean, I don't know of any other can't think of any other chips where like the RTL Verilog is like open source that's like currently being manufactured. I don't know if anyone knows of any other ones, but yeah, it seems pretty rare to have like you know, for something that's being fabbed currently, to have the like the Verilog.
This code have been proven in the silicon. Yeah. Yeah. Although we reduce some vector features there, but it's proven in silicon. So
this would be the code that's, I mean, this is the Verilog for the what's in the Allwinner D1 then. Does that sound right?
Yeah, the Allwinner the D1 has part of this code, but reduced the vector feature. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I'd seen some people, there's a Telegram channel about mainline on the D1, and someone was trying to work through some kernel code, and then they were looking actually at the Verilog code, I think for the MMU, which I thought was quite interesting. So when you're working on the software, you can also go look at and see how these you know, how these registers were actually defined in the Verilog, which is pretty cool, because there's not many other instances, and I think in which an engineer would be able to do that.
Yeah, a lot of people interested in this code, and I recommend that they could attend the simulator SIG. Yeah, simulated SIG.
Okay.
And the chair is my colleague. My colleague. Yeah.
Okay.
And they would I think they are make easy to use this RTL in the simulate in their SIG first.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can if you are interested in this RTL code, you can this one.
The tech announcements, because there's probably a group for simulator, I would guess. I think maybe I'm not part of it, but I would think there is one for.
It's a new SIG and
Okay.
acting chair. My colleague is the acting chair, and he.
Okay. So I guess it was after this email went out. So I wonder if I use my own the technical wiki link here, if I will find out where all the SIGs are, because there should be I think there's a list of the SIGs somewhere.
And we could I would provide the information to you and
Okay.
and I give the contact with you, and I think this SIG is not set up, and
Okay.
we are preparing that, and I just
Cool. Yeah.
we welcome everybody to join that SIG. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I guess if people aren't there's like the announce list, which I think when things like that happen, they'll be I think posted on Tech Announce. So I guess that's another thing people can subscribe to, and I'm sure when that happens, there'll probably be an email about it. Like it tends to be like when there's new groups and things, so they'll post on there. Yeah, actually, I saw I think Anoop is on as well, because I know there had been people also interested in starting a hypervisor SIG potentially. So yeah, I think this is a good one to look at for new groups that are coming up.
Yeah, so hypervisor SIG is officially formed, but so we are following up the remaining steps. Like we need to finalize the charter and then elect the final chairs and then start on with the meetings and all those things. So
Okay.
So it's officially there in the org chart now. So
cool. Right.
Yeah, I sent out a mail yesterday for the first meeting to be held next week. So
okay, was that this one or? You have a list now. Okay.
Yeah, that's in the list.
Okay. So there's a new list to join. Oh, I can join it. Cool. Cool. So this is you have a meeting coming up then?
Yeah, the first meeting is so after a group is formed, a first meeting should be held sooner, and this is to finalize the charter and the next step for the chair election and all those things, nominations and all those things.
Okay, cool. Is there an interrupt meeting coming up as well?
That's today actually. So for me it's today. So for you it will be like morning, right? So
okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, so I think for this year, I mean, today's AI meeting will be like last, because then it's a monthly meeting. So next month meeting will be like overlapping with the summit week. And then after that, there'll be holidays, right? So.
Okay. Let me pull it up here. All right. So that's coming up for the America tomorrow morning then. Okay, cool. Anything new coming up? Anything like important with the AIA?
Yeah, AI is very important for RISC-V to replace the previous ones. Yeah.
Cool. I noticed some mailing list traffic about like the interrupt controllers. It looked like there was some work being done on the drivers to like support the D1. Is that right?
Yeah, those things are sorted. It's
Okay.
just that we discovered one more issue with the Plick spec such, and yeah, and D1 has a different issue, so that's not
Yeah.
related. But anyways,
Okay.
but anyways, like Plick has his own set of issues all the time, so
Okay.
we better to move away from it sooner.
What's the main page? I guess tech, if people are interested, tech AI.
Yeah, that's the mailing name of the mailing list is.
Let me see here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so if people are interested. So the so it's like the is the AIA spec like finished then, or is it like what state do you consider it in?
Yeah, it's in stable state, like, and no
Okay.
changes being done at all. So if you see, and most of the questions which are coming up right now is just clarifications and all those things. So the problem is right now the backlog of specs, right? So first, I mean, so we are just done with the ISA specs right now. Most of the ISA specs are going in ratification. So
Right.
that will happen before submit. And then, and because of this backlog, the non-ISA specs are still in queue. So which includes the AI aspect as well. So I think the first half of next year, or like first quarter of next year, we'll see a lot of activity on the non-ISA aspects. That's I'm hoping. So
Okay.
there's we'll clear the non-ISA backlog by then. So
Great. Do you know how like I had that slide up earlier with the because November 1st was technically the public review ended, I think for all
yeah,
those specs, right?
yeah. So for all these specs are right now almost there with the ratification. So they are waiting for sign-offs from different committees, and finally package will be prepared for the board to sign off on those.
Okay, so the
So-
public review went pretty good for the hypervisor then?
Yes, for all of them, not just
Okay.
hypervisor. So most of the, so I mean, when I say went well, it means that there was no big gotchas or something that, oh, this will never work type of issues found. Mostly it will clarification things, and most of the people, most of the specs, people just were asking questions which are already discussed in some form in internal reviews. Yes.
Okay, great.
It's just that people are not having enough time to respond because people are also busy with other things. So.
Right. So no like major, I guess, changes.
Yeah,
like,
so far, at least I have not heard of that any of the specs faced any issues. And so
great. Cool. Cool. I updated.
yeah. So I mean, it's somewhere like the pre 1.12 is on track.
Okay.
On all parts, yeah. So along with these extensions.
Great. That sounds good.
Yeah, this will definitely solve a lot of problems for the all winner as well, because see, once we have CMO in place, we can trap and emulate. So that will one more problem solved. So
right. So is the plan for that? So so when the kernel will be written to be trying to use those CMO extensions, and then when that instruction runs, it would trap into SBI. Is that what would happen?
yeah, that's what we do for misaligned low store as well right now. So that's what we'll do. And when it comes to OpenSBI or the firmware, basically we'll have a platform abstraction. So by default, I mean, so even OpenSBI will try to detect whether actual CMO is there in hardware or not. So so if we get a trap, we assume that there is no CMO, and then we try to look up for some platform callback. And if there is no platform callback, we simply do nothing. Right. So and then for things like all winner TAD, we'll have platform hooks being implemented.
So would it then because I know there's instructions, right? I think I have them in here from before, like previous meetings, because there are instructions, right, in the core to do some of the caching.
Yeah, this one was more of an optimization. So I don't know how this will fit, or maybe we need another. So CMO like version 2 might include such a thing. We don't know. So but the CMO which is ratified this year does not include such a thing. So
the so when you go to emulate it, so like, do we know, like, how would that be, how would CMO be emulated on something like the D1?
It will generate illegal instruction trap, right? So
Hello, Anup, do you mean that you would emulate every catch line CMO instruction?
yes, because see, it's not, just not this.
The performance is what
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, I remember the first purpose. The first proposal from the ITC is the SBI call, and that is okay because SBI call you just pass the.
Yeah. So no. So how the
that's true. Yeah.
Wait.
And
So
and
we don't want to create an SBI call for thing which is already ratified, for which there is a provision. Okay. So now what happens is that, so we had proposed the SBI because we thought that CMO will not make it this year and we'll have to wait a couple of more years for CMO to see the CMO. So we can't have two different ways of doing the same thing, right? So we can't have a SBI as well as a CMO, right? So which makes the kernel code even more complex. So that's the downside, right? Because right now, because performance will go, I think the performance is mostly because we'll have to do unprivileged instruction read from, otherwise it will be similar to what SBI call will perform actually. So I mean, for any existing hardware, that's the price to pay, which does not have CMO, and CMO is required, and CMO will be kind of mandate. I mean, in kernel, so mandatory. So
for something like on the Sci5 U74, it has the L2 cache controller. So would SBI then use the like the registers for the?
So at least for the Beagle V board, right? So for the Beagle V board, something like that, or the Sci-Fi course, they have this aliased space, right? So, and they also have L2 level functions for flushing, right? So some of the CMO operations can be approximated on top of that. So.
Okay. So it might break down to then calling or using whatever peripheral exists in the SoC, like if there's a L2 cache controller.
So, see, look, if you look at a larger picture, right? If we start emulating CMO, which means then kernel can start assuming CMO to be there. So this is same as kernel assuming time CSR to be always there. So if you see right now, most of the boards don't emulate, most of the boards don't have time CSR in hardware, but OpenSBI emulates that and ensures that kernel always has a time CSR. So for hardware which has the time CSR in hardware, it will not trap, and simply that code path will never be taken. So which ensures compatibility across the boards, right? Now and in future. And that's what we are trying to do with CMO, because CMO will be in very critical, important place like DMF hooks and the data paths of various drivers. So we don't want any checks and all those things in the kernel code for the DMA ops. So that's why kernel can simply assume CMO is there, and then OpenSBI will trap and emulate. So for existing board, it will be a little bit slow because of the traps and emulate, but then it will pave a way for future transition, right? That it will encourage more people to implement that thing in hardware.
Right. Okay. So
yeah, and that means you from software design to reduce the performance of that means you give now full performance implementation from software view for the same.
Yeah, and anyways, for existing boards, consider example of time CSR. It's already reduced performance for existing boards, right? So because most of the existing boards don't emulate time CSR. Don't implement time CSR in hardware. So anyways, they have reduced all Sci-Fi boards have that problem right now. So
okay. That means we have made a decision that using the CMO emulation.
So because SBI call becomes redundant, that's the problem. Then that's and it will be difficult to push and get that thing accepted, because people will argue that we already have why are you coming up with an SBI call where you already have a standard interface already defined? Why can't you just trap and emulate that, basically?
Okay. do you agree to put some tricky way for the CMO emulation? That means if we call into the function and make the first CMO instruction emulation, and then we would take the function return and just let the function return directly and not continue the next, because when emulation the first CMO, we can get the first argument register and the second argument register, and then we can get the what is. That means the SBI implementation needed to be fit with the kernel function design. Yeah.
I don't. Why you want to return failure basically from CMO?
Because I don't want to emulate every CMO instruction, because CMO is on the pit line.
Yeah. So that's fine. So the way to do that is like so the platform hooks that we'll be providing, okay, for the CMO can always say that okay, this is not supported, and then in that case the emulation of the CMO in the generic SBI will return a redirect an illegal instruction trap for those.
I think the concern might be for CMOs that you call in a loop. Is there a way to have the OpenSBI detect that loop and only pay for the cost of the trap once?
Yeah. Thank you, Samuel.
That would be interesting. That we have not attempted in past, so that would be interesting.
Oh, okay. And I think after CMO patch, who is working on the CMO patch? Atish?
Yeah, Atish was looking into all those things. So you can at least drop a mail what is doing right now. So
and I think after.
By the way, so Atish's email ID, just a small update. Atish's email ID won't work because he has left Western Digital, so he's now joined Rivos. So, but I don't know his official email ID now. So you can use his other email address to reach out to him.
Oh, okay. Okay, we are waiting the CMO patch from Atish. Yeah. After that, let's find a way how to make it work on D1 on Sci-Fi efficiently.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess I was just looking, I was like wondering the last time there was a patch. So I guess it was back in October. There was an RFC that someone posted.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, this is part of the okay. So this was CMO.
This is different. Yeah.
Okay. So this was to add CMO.
This was in context of the all-winner board, not into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was not.
The patch subject is a bit generic. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we are pending on that DMA synchronization in RISC-V Linux.
Okay. So is there, so basically there is not really, in terms of implementing this specification, it's kind of no one has posted that yet then?
Yeah, so first thing is like there will be a QEMU implementation as well for POC, proof of concept, and then I mean without that also OpenSBI will go ahead and add the trap and emulation code. So right now we are planning to release OpenSBI like this month, so we are busy with that. So once that is done, so next target will be these kind of things and all the missing stuff for all-winner. So
okay. I was wondering with all-winner because with the D1, the last patch I'd seen was let's see here. This one, is this the most recent thing that's been posted? This version, I guess, for implementing PBMT. Is that the most recent thread?
Yeah, Fui are helping to continue the work of this patch, and the Christoph gave some positive
Yeah.
such a string. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very good for this patch.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
because before that we are
Yeah.
okay, you know that.
Yes.
So I think we see some hope for this patch. If this patch get into the kernel, then we have the first little step for the D1. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So only thing right now open for this as the PMBT is the agreement on the DT bindings actually. So if someone can get that thing done first or a separate patch, that how will, so see now all these ISA extensions are broken down into small extensions, right? So, and we need a clean way of representing that in the DT as like Boolean flags and all those things. So it's easy to detect. So once that framework is in place, we can easily start adding things like SVPMBT, then SVN output, and all those things.
Yeah, because we can change it.
Yeah. So just for like just having another custom DT binding only for SVPMBT will not fly, because again people will have an argument. Okay, what about the other extension? How will we define those in DT bindings? It's not about the implementation of the code as such, more of the binding representation. So
okay.
once that is sorted out, I mean, this patches like would be easy to take actually, in my opinion. Okay.
So
okay.
is this this was what you suggested then?
That's my suggestion. I mean, so Philip had some other ideas. So
yeah, that's okay. That's not related to the core implementation. That's the how we would how we describe the type. Yeah, in the DTS.
Yeah. And then second concern was like use some kind of instruction patching or something possible, something instead of any if comparison anywhere. So those are things, I mean, we have to work out. Nick had some issues on that also.
Yeah, and I guess the other person that's involved now is Heiko, who I think that's how you maybe say his name.
Yeah, he's from Power S390 world, right? So he's also interested these days in RISC-V, so he's also looking into those things. He works with Philip's team, so
right. There was I don't know if everyone had seen this, which I think so. Philip had created this document to try and help organize things, which I think many of you have seen, but maybe not everyone. But and this might be somewhat outdated now since it was last on October 15th, which is almost a month ago now. But I know there'd been a lot of comments in this document. Is this still do you think this is still like up to date, or is this
I've not seen, I mean, I just saw the initial version when he was preparing that. So I mean, the idea was like just to get all of us in the same page rather than just like blasting on mailing list.
Yeah.
So I mean, at least for all, I mean, there were almost 7 to 8 folks when we prepared this thing, just to get majority agreement on most of the things, and this is what we arrived at, and that's why we shared this document even with Guo and his team and David and other folks. So just to have and say what the thought process is right now, and this is the best thing. I mean, most of us thought the way we'll get all-winner supporting. So
okay. Yeah, I guess really we're talking about CMO, and I guess this talks a little bit about the plan for CMO.
Yeah, largely all this work will have to be done by Guo and all-winner folks. It's just that this is just our thoughts, right? So
right. Oh, so is Philip planning to work on the QEMU CMO?
Yeah, I think his team was interested on that, at least that particular part.
Okay.
So I mean, for most of the things, I think Guo and all-winner folks will only do it. So it's only, I think, open access part as well. I think something was written. So
I'm not sure we needed to implement the C90 series CPUs, CMO custom CPUs in the QEMU.
But that's for the GCC instruction. That's for the GCC.
不一定的。
Oh.
Okay, he said he have said a Chinese that means he object my opinion. Okay, okay. If you want to implement the QMU T-head customer CMO instructions, I think you are welcome. Yeah.
You're welcome. So I think that he just forgot to mute his mic
Okay.
or something like that.
I guess the other thing to point out is we obviously it's in the middle of the night in Europe right now, so Philip isn't on, and I know that the next software committee meeting with Philip is on the 25th, so in about 2 weeks.
干什么着？
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
somebody
can you
have to
mute
mute
everyone.
Help. Okay.
Yeah, I think I muted the person that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, I think we should be okay now. Yeah. So I guess the other thing too is obviously it's in the middle of the night right now in Europe. So and the next software committee meeting that Philip chairs is on the 25th. So that's about 2 weeks from now. So I'm sure there'll be updates then with regards to this, hopefully. So, yeah.
And now we just focus on the D1's architecture problem. That means the page problem and the CMO problem. And I think we have find a decision. But the most of the in the D1 is from Samuel's work that a lot of drivers, Sun Xi, mailing list corporation. They needed to put his driver into the Sun Xi framework, and cooperate with the Sun Xi's community. I think Samuel, could you introduce some for us?
So I guess a short status update on this is that the first driver that was new for the D1 is the watchdog driver was merged actually earlier today into Linus's tree. So that will be in 5.16, but of course there's more driver work before the board will boot, and there's the plick and the MMU stuff that will need to get worked out before the board will boot as well. So there's still a lot of drivers left to do.
Right. Yeah, and I guess for people who haven't seen it, Samuel, along with some other people, have done a good job with this wiki page on the Sunzi wiki. So I was wondering is the D1 WIP branch, is that still the best one for people to use when they're building this themselves?
At least for U-boot at the moment, that's the
Okay.
case. The plick support that was needed for OpenSBI was upstreamed. There's still some patches for the Clint, but I don't know if those are actually needed to boot. I haven't tried booting without them.
Okay.
So I think those are still needed. One of the problems is that I'm trying to upstream things. I'm changing device tree bindings as I go to resolve comments from the maintainers. But then since the device tree comes from U-boot, it keeps things a little out of sync there. So
okay. So you've got like I guess it's just one branch here on the OpenSBI, but I think I saw, was it in U-boot where you had several different branches now, I think.
Right. Yeah. The D1 work in progress branch is the one to be using for the D1 board. Okay.
And it looks like you've been trying to, I guess this is trying to do the DT sync as well. That's that other branch then.
Yeah, that's for some of the other Sunzi boards.
Okay. This
because,
okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of driver work that needs to be done in U-boot, so we can use the existing drivers on RISC-V as well as on ARM.
Okay.
So that's part of that work.
Okay.
And then I noticed with Linux, you also have a couple different branches, right? Are these is the D1 still the main one to be looking at then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And right now there's actually a pull request that has some fixes in it.
Okay.
for that was one of the things we were debugging with the MMUs, where there was an additional place where we needed the page flags for
Okay.
user space certain user space mappings were not getting the page DMA cache flag set. So you would get a seg fault when you try to use an AMO on those pages after they had been unprotected. So, but I'm working on getting some stuff rebased so I can get that merged.
So I guess there is DMA operations in SPI, in Open SPI.
It's
No, this is for the one of the patches to Linux, actually, when they were trying to use the Open SPI calls.
Okay.
yeah.
Like, mhm.
I just it's the previous proposal and it's have be objective. Yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, and now it's just a function name, and in this function and directly use the D1's custom CMO instruction. So we are so that means the Samuel blocked on two patch. One is from one is led by the Atish, that he is working on the CMO instructions, and after his work finished, I will see how to put the D1's DMA synchronization into it. That second is now is by the full way he is duty for the page attributes, custom attributes, the custom SVP, standard SVPBMT. After standard SVP, you can easily to change the variable during the boot time.
That reminded me. Go ahead.
The end result is that I'm using slightly older versions of the patches that aren't going to be the ones that are going to be upstreamed, because the upstream strategy of doing it the standard way and then implementing the all winner support on top of that, those patches don't all exist yet. So I'm using some of the old direct, using the T-head extensions in the kernel code for right now. It's just so people can get the board booting.
Thank you. It's correct decision.
Cool.
Samuel, so would you be interested in taking up the CMO addition to the OpenSBI? Maybe your idea was like nice, like if you can even detect small loops around the CMOs, then that will save overhead for D1 actually.
I can look into it. I don't know how feasible that is. Those.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot support all combinations, but like maybe you can think a CMO followed by arithmetic and followed by a branch. If you detect any pattern like that, you can predict the loop, right? So, or just get those instruction and just directly emulate in a loop. So, yeah, I mean, just a thought if you are interested. Otherwise, we can always take a look at that. So,
right.
Yeah, or just to get it functionally correct, you can, I mean, just to start with, we can just have a simple single instruction emulation, right? So,
right, yeah, I'd rather get it working correctly before worrying about performance.
So would that be like multiple invalidate or clean instructions, or that's what you're saying? If you saw...
so generally for a range, it will be like multiple. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I think the catch block mentioned here is just equal to the catch line. One catch line based CMO instruction.
That the block is a line?
Block is one catch line. I think.
I know it used to be called something else. I feel like we actually even looked at this before in one of the open hours, trying to understand what a block was in this context. But I mean, that would make sense if it was a cache line. I don't really understand why it's called a block instead of but I don't know if anyone followed more closely. But okay, well, that's cool. Good to know. Well, that's going on. Let's see where yeah. Yeah, so I guess the Sunzi page is still the best place to go to. Yeah, there's a web page, so that's cool. I don't know. I know some of you are on. There's a Telegram for mainlining the D1. I have no idea how to find the URL for it. I just have it in my Telegram client, but I know a few of you are on there. But if anyone's not, I wonder what the link is to share that.
You should be able to find it on just a web search because it's linked from some of the Sapid store product pages.
Oh, okay. Or can I mainline for D1? Let's see, that's what it's called. Oh, I guess it was on Twitter. Oh, here it is. I guess that works. Here, I'll paste it in here. If anyone's not, oh yeah. If anyone has not,
oh, there's Telegram.
Join. Yeah, it's the only thing. Yeah, it's the only like technical thing I have on Telegram, but it's a pretty good one. Like they're pretty. There's a fair amount of activity in it. Also, I think they've been having their own meetup on Jitsi. I think it actually might have happened earlier today. Daniel Maslowski, I think, is the person that runs it. I'll copy it in here. I'm pretty sure it already happened, but it was at 10 p.m. UTC. So I guess that's already, I think, happened. But yeah, if you join that Telegram channel, I think he usually alerts people when it's going to happen. I've not had a chance to get onto that Jitsi, but yeah, there's been like a fair amount of activity over I don't know, whenever this started back in the springtime. So I'd say it's like the main way. Yeah, go ahead.
Somebody are there somebody interested in the fast TLB invalidation? I mean, what's the fast TLB invalidation here? Yeah.
Let's see what the specification is.
Sure. It's just like another virtual memory extension for range-based or batching the TLB invalidation. So.
Oh, batching the TLB invalidation. Yeah, that means broadcast one.
Yeah, so the existing expense is more expensive, considering the ordering semantics also associated with that. So this allows like to this defines two separate instructions, right? So which will allow architectures to optimize implementations to optimize the TLB invalidation. So it can detect instruction pattern over loops and all those things. So yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think because we are using the unified SID design from the ARM style, so we could.
Yeah, I know that. So your implementation is aligned with the ARM, but this is more aligned with the instruction combining approach. So.
Yeah, actually, our processor could do that with custom instruction. I think we could. Yeah.
So one more thing I was saying on this front is that so this is another extension where it will come that kernel wants to use this extension extensively, and so either kernel will mostly kernel end up doing instruction patching actually to use this TLB operation.
I shouldn't mess around this much with the PDF viewer in Chrome. I'm pretty sure I'll crash the browser. But yeah, the link's in there if people want to read. It's in, I guess, chapter 7 of the new spec. That's good to know.
So does that spec define specific sequences of instructions that get turned into?
Yeah, so there was some recommendation. I mean, some just an example how implementations can optimize the sequence of instruction, or they can combine instructions. So it's typical. What I last remember is mostly an invalid operation followed by arithmetic followed by a branch. So not more than 3 or 4 instructions they can combine. Something that's what I mean. They have some non-normative text, and that's not the only combination which an implementation can optimize. So
I'm just trying to think for.
Mute.
I'm just thinking for the CMOs, does it make sense to define or suggest something similar where
So-
we say, oh, you have to use this group of 3 instructions that we will then.
Such patterns are like always implementation specific, right? So we can also think like that will be like OpenSBI specific, because in this case OpenSBI is trap and emulate, so OpenSBI becomes kind of an implementation. So if OpenSBI does not see the expected pattern, it will just fall back to a single trap instruction emulate.
And that means we would put this instruction in the OpenSBI, not we couldn't directly use this instruction in the kernel.
No, this instruction will be so the invalidation you will be able to use in kernel directly. But then the existing boards which don't have this instruction, so for them this you have to use the old SFENS approach only, which is slower. So.
Yeah, I mean currently if we enable the SMP and all the TLB invalidation are coded to the OpenSBI, so where we put these instructions.
Yeah, so what will happen is that the TLB flush implementation will now have in future will have support for this new extension, and it will also detect what kind of based on DT or ACP, it will detect whether this feature is supported or not, and based on that it will use alternate methods by code patching in kernel only. So
Okay.
this is like a boot time kernel code patching, so it will not affect existing boards which are using SFENS VMS. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Let's see. Let me flip back there. I was afraid that using the GitHub PDF viewer always seems to crash Chrome. So I went over into events. But yeah, so I guess that's like kind of the latest on the D1. Yeah, so I guess we looked at that plan. So it's good to see that all going on. Yeah, Fuwei's not here, so I sent him a message on Skype because he's normally here. I don't know if there's been any updates on the. There's this nice wiki page for Fedora on the D1, but I don't know if there's been anything new on there. But yeah, I guess you can boot it up, have a screen, and everything like that. So if people have D1 boards and they want to try that out, you can also do that. Let's see. Oh, the one thing I wanted to bring up with the D1 was I saw there's this cool project that someone did. And Messagem is a person that's a university student in China, and I guess he found the F133, which is the D1 plus 64 megabytes in package. I think he said he found it on Taobao, and he made like this this little board here, and he released all the files. So I guess if anyone else is successful in finding chips on Taobao or something like that, you could try and build this project or take the files in TCAD. I mean, the thing that seemed cool about this new system in package is it's not a BGA anymore. It's just a quad flat pack. So you could potentially, pretty easily with some solder paste and a reflow oven or a hot plate, probably hand assemble this board. So that seemed kind of neat. You don't have to worry about DDR traces and all that on the PCB. So I thought that was pretty neat. I asked him where he got it from, and he said in the comments that, yeah, he said like you can probably find it on Taobao, but he wasn't sure about people outside of China. So I guess if you are in China and you want to build your own board, this could be something to do. I also saw a company called Mango Pie looks to be making one with this system in package. I'm a little confused about the name. I've seen in some places it's referred to as D1S, and in other places it's F133. So I guess maybe both names are valid, but interesting thing to check out. I don't know, for people that are in China, like have you seen a way to buy any of these chips yet so far?
I may have heard some news from, but I'm not sure. So at least there's if there's only one team that's working on smaller RISC-V devices, then must be this project. But I'm not sure. I will check it. I will check and reach out to people behind it.
Cool. Yeah, I messaged him on that on this Hackaday platform where you can host your projects. And yeah, I guess he's just a university student, and he thought the D1 was pretty cool, and he found the chip. So I guess obviously probably easier when you're in China to source these chips. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And yeah, the other one that I saw here, where did it go? The Mango Pie, which looked kind of similar. They're also using
so
this.
I'm pretty sure that I have seen this name or this code name F133 sometimes, maybe in the artist thread community or something like that.
I guess it depends on what you want to use it for, but if 64 megabytes is enough, I think this is a really nice package because it makes this PCB much simpler, right? You don't have to have the high-speed traces for the DDR. So I think especially for non-professional, circuit board designers, you could more easily make your own D1 board. So that was pretty neat.
Yeah. Okay. I would have a question to the Anoop, because when we do some work with the F133, we met that the OpenSBI occupied 2 megabytes memory. Yeah, and I hope it could be reduced some resource.
Yeah. So yeah, we are trying to work on that actually. So we didn't have any memory management code in OpenSBI right now. So we are thinking to reduce the number of per heart arrays and use more of on-the-fly allocations to reduce the runtime memory consumptions. And I think the memory usage generally increases with the number of hearts. And one other thing we did was for larger systems with a large number of cores, we can't avoid that, and that's true for even trusted firmware in ARM world as well. So other thing is we did was we added this position independent execution support, right? So we can execute OpenSBI, at least the generic firmware, from anywhere in RAM. So if you don't need to run the OpenSBI from the first 2 MB itself, you can put it somewhere else, and OpenSBI will run from there, like in the middle of the RAM or towards the end, wherever you think is better actually.
I mean, there are a lot of code using the fixed address with the 2 megabytes offset in kernel. So which way you prefer to utilize the OpenSBI spare free memory? I mean, in the 2 megabytes. Add them in the memory block at the init or other stuff.
Yeah, let me think about this. Maybe let's take offline actually. This talk.
Okay. We can talk with Mel. Yeah. And I will send some RC patch. You can give my advice how to do that. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, I guess it'd be interesting to have a system with smaller memory, though. I guess the K210 does work, right? The Kendrite, so that's only 8 megabytes. So, and this one actually has an MMU, right? That's supported, right? So it actually probably be fairly usable for some things, I suppose, right? Oh, it looks like Akira, you have to take off. Did you want to say anything before you take off, Akira? Okay. Looks like he's gotta head out. Oh yeah, before I forget, Wei Wu, was there anything that you wanted to mention about the lab? For people that haven't seen in previous
yeah, so I just found the how to unmute myself.
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
RISC-V lab, we are still putting new devices into it, and currently we just reached set up an online 40 match board and put into the service for the CI hosting, and so I didn't update the site because that the last 2 meetings were canceled due to the summit and other meetings. So currently the other 500 MH boards is still on its way. So we may need still to wait a few months. And for the D1, the 100 device is put online, but it's not still public announced. So I'm not sure that whether the Kim or the marketing team wants to was the best timing for it. So I do send some D1 access accounts to the students in China and kind of alpha or beta testing for the RISC-V lab.
Great, that's exciting. Yeah, if you and I think you had mentioned before that if you're anyways, if you're a RISC-V international member, you'll be able to sign up for an account.
Yes.
Okay.
So just so the current method we are using is we set up a GitHub repo and listing the names. So just the idea in the ideal process that just send your GitHub account and the username you want to use, send a pull request to the repo, and we will have the RISC-V International will check whether the email the user use are in the membership list. If that is listed, that the get automatically merged.
Okay, awesome. Is that is this the right repo? The RISC-V lab access. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the right repo. So currently we are relying on this repo.
Okay, great. That's exciting. I mean, I know it can be it's difficult to get hardware shipped all around the world, and so rather than people having to get it shipped to them, they can just log in remotely, which is pretty neat.
I do ship a few boards, including MH and D1, but only in the mainland China. So when the devices, electro devices, shipped across is either out of mainland China or in the mainland China. It's very difficult nowadays.
Right. Yeah, so I mean that's great. So like people from anywhere with the internet can log in and take advantage of these boards. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, because I mean I would say probably one of the biggest problems right now with RISC-V is just most people don't have hardware, right? I mean, it's a small number of people that have boards, I think.
And there's a small update on this slide. So for the support for the Docker RISC-V 64 Docker, that Gen 2 now has a kind of official support, and the Arch Linux, I think the Arch Linux is also ready, but not sure that it's on the official account.
Okay. Great. Did you want to share your screen, or I just kind of pulled up your slides here, but if you want to share, that's fine as well.
Yeah, not
okay.
today. So
Okay,
I
sure.
didn't make too much slides today.
Okay, well, that's no problem. But yeah, if anyone hadn't seen this previously, I think this is very
Yeah,
exciting.
so just to push the things forward.
I liked your photo from a while back of all the boards there. You know, so it's good to see all those,
Yeah,
all
now
those boards ready.
yeah. So after taking the picture, we put into the lot of the case, so that to reduce the noise of the small fan that's unmatched, unmatched. Yeah, the if you have a match that the fan is very, the fan is on the CPU is very high frequency and very loud.
Yeah. You
So
don't want to have it on your
yeah.
desk. Oh, looks like Anoop has to go. Thanks for joining, Anoop. It's good to have you on here.
Yeah.
I think this was your picture of the D1 boards, which I thought was pretty neat. How you had connected these D1 boards together. That was pretty nice.
Yeah. So because it does not have a fan to cooling his chips, so we can pack it very compactly.
Yeah, that's great. What do you do for storage? You just have the SD card plugged in there? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just to put a kind of a 64 gigabits SD card or 32 gigabit TF card on it.
Okay, cool. So do you use like network file systems as well to like mount something on the network, or is it all just local?
So you mean that there's a common storage devices? So
you mean, do you use like NFS or network file system or anything like that?
Not connected to the
Okay.
D1 yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then is this how you're currently mounting your unmatched boards then? This picture here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the first version in the Hangzhou lab, and in the Nanjing lab that we just put all of them into the ATS box.
Okay.
So because it's very
right.
the sound is very loud.
Right. Was it difficult to find a graphics card that would work with the board?
Yeah, it's surprisingly easy, I think.
Okay.
So I
That's
just
good.
put it. Yeah. So maybe I think I can show that's currently. So I will try it. So I have a camera. So
Nice.
that's the first version of the. So I can't see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the first version. That's the first 9 board. So the running there's a 3 different operating systems running it. So the first is Fedora, Gentoo, and the Ubuntu. So we also have some few boards that are running the Arch Linux that's in Wuhan, in another city.
Wow. So you probably have the most RISC-V processors running Linux anywhere in the world, I would guess, right? in your lab
I think.
Yeah.
Especially that when I got the 500 extra and the 900 extra D1 boards.
Yeah.
So definitely that would be the biggest lab in the world for the RISC-V.
That's great. Awesome. That's great to see. Yeah, so definitely something people
yeah, and so if you have any questions, either attending the meeting or watch the video that we will put on the YouTube or Bilibili. So just feel free to go to the lab access and either open issue or open the pull request.
Yeah. And you also have a meeting, right, as well? Is it the RISC-V labs? You have a meeting next week? Okay.
Yes. So that's we will hold a meeting every 2 weeks.
Okay, cool. So people can find that on the calendar. That's great. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to share? I'm happy to I can make it so you can share the screen if you want, or anyone have any questions or anything else they wanted to discuss? we've been going good though. It's almost an hour and a half, which is pretty good. Oh, by the way, so does this time work pretty good for everyone? The time we started today.
Yeah, I think that's good for the
Okay.
for the East Asia.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, and then for people here in the Americas, it's still possible if people are not busy in the evening to join. So,
Yes.
yeah, it was pretty nice to have like a nuke from India, and we have people in China, and then we've got Samuel and myself and some others from the US. So that was good. Great. Let's see. Let me go back. So the next one. Actually, I was actually going to have this change. So, so the next one is on the 24th, and that is for Europe in America. So it'd be very late for China. But the next one after that, I think it got mixed up in the schedule here. So I asked for it to be changed because if we look at the schedule here, the next one would be on December 1st, but the time was wrong for it. So
Yeah,
okay,
so
it's been changed.
So I think there's a bug in the bug in the RISC-V meet community site. So it did not recognize the date summertime shifting. Yeah.
So yeah, so the next one will actually be then December 1st. So the next one will be December 1st. That would work for Asia. So we'll have December
very
1st.
Close to the summit.
Yeah, right before the summit. Yeah, and then so yes, so this one. So you have this. The first is the one that works for Asia, and then was this the 15th? I think is for Europe. Yeah, so that's in the morning for me. And then yeah, so then we go into next year. So I think we're skipping the week of Christmas and New Year here in America and Europe. So I guess we'll go all the way to the middle of January for the next one. So yeah, so the next one will be on December 1st, and yeah, just a few days before the summit. So that should be good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if no one has any questions or anything they want to bring up, then I guess we can. I think we can wrap it up. But it was definitely fun. I learned a lot. So thanks everyone for joining.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
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 Let me